There are two things that really motivate and propel people to go forward. Some think it's willpower, but willpower is motivated by logic and reason. But pain and passion overrides willpower.
Ron Williams, welcome to the show. And I appreciate that you take your time to be on our show and answer some of the questions. And I'll always start the interview with the question, so what is the essence of your being?
Okay, the sense of my being. That's a really, really good question, man, because early on in life, I really didn't know because I went through so many struggles, had so much trauma and pain that I thought there was no sense of my being, and I wished that I wasn't here. I was suicidal. I was depressed. I just didn't want to be here, man, because of my upbringing and being abandoned as a child, having nobody, mother, father, anybody to love me. I was on the streets by the time I was 15 and, almost died 13 different times throughout that, my young life. And when I got older, I realized that all of these things that I went through were just to prepare me for my purpose. Now I have a tremendous amount of compassion for other people. I love, love, love people. At one time, I couldn't say that. And I want to be an instrument to help other people reach their potential. Because little did I know that I had anything called potential, but I had a great deal of potential. I didn't know I could write books. I didn't know I could invent equipment. I didn't know I could be a pastor. I didn't know I could be a life coach. I didn't know I could do any of those things. But when I got older and began to change my thought process and my mindset, I could see the reason why I was born, the reason why I'm here. And that's really to help other people to see that there is a potential, that if you're born and you're here, there's a purpose for you. That's why I'm here.
Okay, that's great. And so you would say the struggle is essential for people to develop an insight to find their purpose in life, whether it's in sports or arts, or to find their unique way to express themselves.
I would say for some people, they don't go through what I went through, but some people, the struggle is necessary.
Yeah.
For some people, the struggle is necessary. There are two things that really motivate and propel people to go forward. Some think it's willpower, but willpower is motivated by logic and reason. But pain and passion overrides willpower. Pain or passion overrides willpower because willpower is evoked by intellect. If you hear a speaker and they inspire you, they make you want to do something and you invoke your willpower. But when you have a tremendous amount of pain, even when it doesn't make sense, you keep pushing, you keep fighting. People say, oh, you can't do that. You say, oh, yes, I can. That pain drives you, man.
So it's a kind of intrinsic motivation versus an extrinsic motivation, because people can go to whatever motivation thing. And I always think that if there's no intrinsic motivation, no goal, no real purpose to be driven, they become drifters and they don't know where to go. And all the energy goes, it's like a shotgun approach versus being a sniper. So, do you see that the same way, or what are your thoughts about that?
You know what? That was well spoken. That was well spoken. That's beautiful. Instead of a shotgun, more of a sniper, a sharpshooter. Yeah, I agree 100%, man.
And so, do you believe something like motivation is real in regards of that? Well, some people say you gotta be motivated, but what is motivation? I mean, do you think motivation as itself exists, or is it more kind of priorities? I mean, if your priority is high, you don't need motivation because you just want to do it, and then it's not hard to do it because you want it, or you either want something more. So that means, give you an example. So someone decides, okay, I want to be fit, I want to be strong, I want to be lean whatsoever, or he or she wants to sit on the couch, be a couch potato. So it doesn't make him or her a bad person. But I think if your priority is high and you want something, maybe you don't need that kind of motivation because it's an inborn thing you want to do. So what do you think about that?
I think that the word motivation comes from the word motive, and the word motive means reason. So what is the reason you're doing this? And I think we have reasons why we do things. So my reason and my motive is, like you said, I want this. That's my reason why. So that's my motive. That's what gives me motivation, because it's the reason. I think motivation is a real thing, but I don't think it's a real thing in the sense that the majority of the people use it. But if they define the word motivation and go to the core root of motive meaning reason, we have a reason why we do everything. So that would be the motive, I would think.
Okay. Well, that's deep insight. So for people who may not know you already, would you consider you to be the priority is being a life coach, or are you focusing on fitness or something else? Or do you say, well, all those things I do are just like a facet of a kaleidoscope, and they are intertwined because it is the whole thing, and with special facets?
I would say this, man. You are brilliant. I'm going to tell you that first of all, because you asked wonderful questions. Wonderful questions. One thing, the thing that I concentrate on, there's 4 things: faith, family, fitness, and finances. Those 4 things. And I believe that we're body, soul, and spirit, and you can't separate them. Yeah. And I also believe that with me, as I work and train my body, I'm working and training my inner man. I want my inner man I want my outer body to only be a reflection of what's inside. Okay. I've seen so many people that have a great body, but they have nothing inside. It's selfishness. It's all about me. But I want my physical appearance to only reflect what's inside. So as I look better on the outside, I want to be better on the inside. And that's what I want to transfer to other people, because my body, if I want to change the way my body looks, I can't do it without my mind. My mind has to first give me permission. And I want my mind to give me permission, not just to change my body, but to be a better human being.
So to sum that up, so I think I have the same vision. So as you say, everything is a kind of energy. So, and energy is emotion, energy in motion. So everything vibrates, as you say, family, faith, finances, and fitness, I think. So this is all kind of energy. I mean, money is just a kind of energy, and fitness is, you need to have energy to be what we call fit, and faith is the same, to believe in some higher spirit, and family is the same, to stick to your inner circle, to your tribe. And well, that sounds really great. And so how do you transport this to your clients? Well, I'm just going all in, digging deep in. So, but we will touch a lot of other things during our conversation for the listeners and viewers, just to let them know. But I didn't, to be honest, I didn't expect that. But it's kind of a resonance, and I believe that people with likewise mindset, as the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. So people with the same mindset, they attract each other, and I think this is happening here right now. So may I ask you how you do this with your clients? So it is possible. I've seen on your website you offer some programs. But they are fitness related. But do you also offer individual coaching, for example? Because this, what you have been saying right now, is so much more than just the average coach. It is, I would not say on a philosophical level, but it is a really deep, a deep thing for people who already familiar with stuff like that. So do you work with people who want to get inspired, or do you prefer to work with people who already have done, let's say, 80% of the work? They say, okay, I woke up, but now I need a professional to get a positive shortcut to not make all the mistakes maybe he has done. He can give me advice to be faster and to reach my goal faster. So okay, and this was a lot of talk now, but I hope you get the point. So
yeah, I get the essence of what you're saying,
yeah,
and it's both. I work with people that that have given up and have no hope. They feel like there's no hope because that's where I came from. And I also work with people that say, I need a coach, because see, I have a coach. I have two coaches. I have a business coach and I have a personal coach. But the thing about it is, the people, I used to work with just athletes, because athletes gave me energy. They would, I mean, you would have to tell them, hey, back off, slow down. But the people that were overweight and obese, it's like they would suck my energy from me, you know.
Energy
But
vampires.
yeah. But there was a paradigm shift some years ago with people that are overweight and obese. So I still work with those that are fit, and I love people that are overweight and obese because they've given up and they feel like there's no hope. And I feel like that I've been given some answers that can help them, and it's not in diet and nutrition, it's not in exercise, it's in changing their mindset. And what I do is I have an outline that I have them go through, and they write down. I ask them specific questions to find out their history and where the struggle came in. If you're overweight and obese, it's not just because you're eating bad. It's not just because you're not exercising. There are some other circumstances that are going on. I want to find out what those are so that we no longer deal with the surface problem. We no longer deal with the symptoms, but we go to the root of the problem. So what I do is I troubleshoot and I find out what the root is. It's similar to a dandelion. If you cut the dandelion off, it's going to come right back. And that's the way we do with body fat. We go through a program and we get rid of the body fat, it comes right back. We didn't destroy the root. So we troubleshoot and find out what the root is. There are more than 75 reasons why people are overweight and obese. And we want to find out what reason belongs to that particular person. Get rid of the reason, you'll get rid of the problem. And that's with anything. If you have a marital problem, don't deal with the surface or the symptoms, the arguing part of it. There's something deeper that we have to deal with. If you've got problems with employees, don't deal with the problem you see at hand. If you love that person, don't fire them. Let's go to the root, because that may be your best employee that you'll ever have if you help them figure out what the struggle is. So that's what we do. We find out what the root of the problem is and deal with the root. And people, a lot of times they don't know what the root is because it's their norm. This is where I've lived. Like me, when I was growing up, I didn't know kids didn't go to school hungry. I was hungry. I didn't know kids weren't being molested every day. I was being molested and raped as a kid. I didn't know that kids didn't have, when they went home to a place where their mother wasn't there or their father wasn't there, because it was my life. It was just normal. And when they go through this pamphlet that I have them write out, they begin to write things, then I can say, that's not normal. They say, well, that's my life. It's normal to them. So that helps me because I've gone through so many things. It helps me to better relate and be compassionate towards other people that are dealing with those issues. And I can help them work through it, because all of my struggles, they didn't just go away. I had to work through it, and I developed a process that I can transfer to other people.
So this is a kind of I call it emotional anatomy approach. So that means you mentioned a lot of things like people being obese. And this is just the physical first appearance. So being obese, of course, it is excessive overeating, but because you just don't walk by the French fries or whatsoever and just inhale them. But as I know what you mean. So this means maybe an obese person might have feels emotionally empty. So he or ugly, or he wants to make himself ugly because, as you mentioned, maybe he or she was molested or raped. So it's a kind of building a protection. And you said you have worked with athletes, and let me ask you a question. So working with athletes, for example, bodybuilders, from my experience working with those people is, have you experienced bodybuilders or people with excessive muscle mass that they internally they really feel weak and build this muscle mass to build an what's the English word? It's in protection around your body, just to they say, okay, my inner child is so weak, but I need 22-inch arms because then nobody will attack me. It's kind of a protection to the outer world. And so is that what you're focusing on with your clients, that you say, okay, I challenge you, I confront you. It is maybe not a pleasant experience, but as you said before, you have to, this is, I call it healing pain. This is pain, but it will succeed and something else would take its place. Is that the approach you're doing?
Well, why are you talking about me right now? That was me, man. I built this armor so that the little boy could no longer be hurt again. I built this armor so I could intimidate other people so they wouldn't attack me, because that little 3-year-old boy, even though I was 28, 29, 30 years old, a part of me still was 3 years old. It hadn't grown out of that space. And I call it soul wounds.
Yeah.
The soul was so wounded. And the thing about, see, there's a difference between a wound and a scar.
Yeah.
A wound can still fester. A wound can still get infected. But once it becomes a scar is a beautiful thing, because with the scar leaves experience. I got experience in that, but it doesn't hurt anymore because it's a scar. It also gives me compassion for other people that are dealing with the wound. I want theirs to become a scar so it doesn't hurt anymore. And it gives a sense of wisdom and compassion for other people. So if you were to look at me, you took my skin off, you would see Ron Williams, the scarred. I mean, scarred all over. But those scars gave me understanding. It gave me compassion. It gave me the desire to reach out and help other people. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. With athletes, a lot of times they're trying to prove something, or they're trying to prove that everybody else is wrong, that they can do something. I was told, you're dumb, you're stupid, you'll never be anything, you're a loser. I was told you'll be dead or in jail before you're 18. That's what I was told. And they were wrong. They were wrong. I'm still alive, I'm not dead, and I'm not in jail.
This is a really interesting approach. So, and now the question arises in me that you say, okay, you value scars because scars, everybody tells a story. So everybody tells a story if you look at it, just what we call the physical body. So what would you say? Would you think it is essential to, okay, well, the first step, value those scars because they shaped you the way you are now, but would it be useful to dissolve those scars? But because, let me explain, from a just physical point of view, a scar is just a useless, what do you say? It's not the real tissue. It's a secondary tissue that does not function as well as the normal tissue. So, and speaking from a soul point of view or emotional point of view, would you recommend dissolving those scars? And I'm asking with a specific image in mind, because sometimes it might be better to say, okay, I have that scar, but it is better not to dissolve it, because dissolving the scar would cause much more emotional trauma and maybe cause more damage than cause something good. I'm just thinking of something like tuberculosis, that you have bacteria and that the body encapsulates it and says, okay, you're fine with that and nothing will happen. But if you open it and poke it, and so the reinfection might be worse than just saying, okay, I'm aware of this thing and I'm fine with it and I leave it. So what is your take on this? Do you recommend, or with your clients, do you encourage them to open those scars, dissolve them, or what is your take on this?
Well, the wound, I encourage them to get the wound healed so it
Mm,
becomes a scar. The scar itself, the scars that I have, I want to keep the scars. The reason why is because history repeats itself.
mm,
If you don't remember where you came from,
mm,
you may return.
yeah.
So I want to remember where I came from. I want to remember, I just don't want it to hurt anymore. And the wound is what hurt. The scar doesn't hurt. The scar just leaves a memory. But if I can have that memory, I can use that memory to navigate me in my future, and I can use that memory to actually help someone else.
Mm.
So I want the scar, but not the wound.
Yeah, okay, I get that. So you mean, if you want to know where you want to go, you must know where you came from. So okay,
Absolutely.
so and you gotta know your destination, because otherwise you're just traveling and you will okay, you are traveling or you're on a mission, but to nowhere. So
Yes.
okay, that's great. And so you said you have coaches as well. I think this is interesting because um, some people consider themselves to be some kind of guru, and they say, "Hey, I missed the know-it-all, and I don't have to learn anything." So, what is your approach? You say every coach should have a coach, and you should be stick. If you want to be a master, stay a student. This is this kind of approach, or
Well, actually, I've had coaches my whole life. I played football, I wrestled, I boxed, I ran track, I swam and dove. So I've had coaches my whole life. But when I became a life coach, I thought, I don't need a coach. And I had a guy take me on his podcast. And he's a coach for the King of Rwanda. He's a coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a coach for Mercedes. So, I mean, he's a tremendous coach. And I went on his podcast and I began to talk to him the way we're talking. And he says, Ron, I need to lose a few pounds. He said, what would it take for me to work with you? And I said, let me think about it. And I called him back the next day and we decided that he would, that I would coach him. So I started training this guy. And every day that I would train him, he would drop these nuggets about business. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I would go in my car and I'd write down what he said. I mean, every day he would say something else just haphazardly, and I would write it down. And I thought, you need a coach. And I asked him to coach me. So we coach each other now. He coaches me in business, and I coach him with his physical body. But this guy is absolutely amazing. And what he's done, he has revolutionized our business. He knows things from his perspective. He knows things that I always say, you don't know what you don't know. And
yeah,
there was a lot that I didn't know when it came to business. He made me realize, you stick to what you're good at and let people like me stick to what I'm good at. And so he began to help shift our business in such a way that it grew overnight, man.
mm,
So yeah, I realize now I need a coach. I need a coach. At one time I thought I didn't, but I really do, because I have an intimate, personal relationship with God. And I was saying, well, you coach me, you tell me what to do. But I really believe that He sent me this man. He's a wonderful, beautiful. How would I say? He's a man of integrity, a
mhm.
man that does what he says and says what he does. I mean, you don't see a lot of people on the planet like this.
Yeah. So he walks the walk and doesn't talk the walk. So okay, and but the essence of a coach is, and please correct me if you see that in a different way, is not that people that you have someone just to tell someone else that he's doing something wrong or he is wrong as a whole human being, but to yeah, increase the speed, so the it's not only the wealth, it's to increase the speed how fast someone might reach their goal, and or to increase the efficiency of the work. It's not the effectiveness, it's if being effective versus efficiency. I mean, I don't have to tell you something about the gym. I mean, someone can say, okay, I've been to the gym 3 hours today. So, okay, and if he's just texting and drinking coffee all the day, so yes, he spent 3 hours in the gym. But in terms of an efficiency and losing fat, building muscle, and whatsoever, he did nothing. So, is it that the way you see it? A coach being, finding the potential in your clients so that they can be more efficient. So that's what creates your value as a coach.
Well, one thing I think, say for instance, with the coach that I have, what he has done for me is he has taken, what I paid him to do was to help me reach my goal, and his job was to help me reach my goal in a fraction of the time.
Yeah.
His goal was to say, I made some mistakes and you're making those same mistakes. I'm going to prevent you from losing $100,000 here, $100,000 here, going bankrupt. He went bankrupt 3 times, but he came back from it. He said, I'm going to prevent you from doing that. Not only that, but I've developed some tremendous relationships. I'm going to open my Rolodex to you so you can have those same relationships. My relationships are your relationships. I've got some doors that I can open for you. You love to speak? Hey, I'm going to put you on this speaking circuit. I'm going to put you on this speaking tour. I know Maverick. I know these people over here that work with this particular gym program. I'm going to connect you with them. So this coach was able to connect me and help me reach some of my goals in a fraction of the time and give me wisdom, save me heartache and pain. And that's my job when I'm coaching, is to shorten their time to get from point A to point C. The journey, point B, is my job to help them get through that. My company could have went bankrupt. Bankrupt, and I would have had to start all over if it wasn't for this man. That is the honest truth. I probably would have went bankrupt. Yeah. So the coach, he saved me from that. And in the gym, I've learned things for, over 40 years of how to train. I believe it was really a gift. You can when you're doing the exercises, there's a way to do an exercise, and there's a way to better do that exercise, and then there's a way to maximize that exercise. I've learned how to maximize exercises and keep injury down. When we talk about the Iron Chest Master, you'll see a little bit of that. But it really is important, if I'm going to help you get from point A to point C, they're not really shortcuts, but to do it in a more efficient way.
Yeah.
I can eat a certain way, and then I can feed my body to support my goal and exercise to support my goal. Or I can go in the gym and just push the weights and just eat better. I'll get some results, but I'm not going to maximize my time. I want to maximize your time.
Correct. So I would say it is a kind of shortcut, but not in a negative sin in the sense of cheating. It's not a shortcut in the sense of cheating. It is like the Pareto principle. You tell people what are the 20% they have to do to get 80% of the result. So to sum this up, this looks as you tell people that your coaching is kind of an investment, and I think the best investment you can do is to invest in yourself and your abilities to develop the best version of yourself, because I cannot be you, you cannot be me. There will always be someone who's better, taller, faster, richer, whatsoever. But you can be the best version of yourself. So I think this is a healthy competitional approach. Okay, Ron, so you also mentioned that. So please give us a bit of your background from, you mentioned some things already. You did some football, wrestling, boxing, and so on. But then you decided to go into the world of bodybuilding. And can you give us a little bit of your vita, how it all started from your bodybuilding story, and what led you to the point that you say, hey, man, the world needs a new exercising machine called your Iron Chest Master, and then we will talk a little bit about this device.
Okay. First off, when I was in seventh grade is when I remember this I mean, this was a turning point in my life. I ran a track meet. I was in a track meet and I was really fast as a kid. And, throughout my whole life, just because the way my body's built, the muscle twitch, the muscle fiber, the muscle bellies, I mean, I was built for sprinting. And so I ran in a track meet and I took second place. And I thought I did a great job. I mean, I thought this is awesome. I found what I was born to do. I'm born to run. And so I took second place. I barely got second place. But the guy that took third place, I remember going into the locker room and there was the reporters for middle school. They were writing a report on the placement of the track meet. So they walked up to me and they said, "Hey, how did you do?" I said, "Did really good." They said, "What place did you get?" I said, "Second place." And they said, "Who won?" I said, "He did."
Yeah.
When I said he won, everybody shifted and went over to him. Then I remember him. He was first place. I was second place. The other guy was third place. The guy that was third place, his family was around him saying, "Oh, you did such a great job." I had nobody standing there with me. The reporters were over here with this guy, and the family was over here with this guy, and I was alone. And I looked at the one guy with his family. I said, "I don't have a family. I can never have that." And I looked at the guy who had the reporters. I said, "But if I worked real hard, I could win. I could be the guy that wins." I became addicted to winning because that was my family. That became my family. So I was able to win races that my body was never built to run. I could run a 400, I could run a 200, I could run 100 meters. It didn't matter. I could run the race. And the pain that my body felt, I made that pain a friend because I could control it. I could control the pain. I could turn it on and I could turn it off when I wanted to. But the pain that was emotional, the pain of being beaten as a kid, that I couldn't control. Somebody else had that in their control. So I learned to embrace pain and make it a friend instead of an enemy. When I could manage pain better than the next person, I knew this. If I could manage the pain better than the next person, I could be the winner. So I began to manage pain in my life. When I'm doing leg extensions and that lactic acid builds up, it starts to burn. It's not time to quit. It's time to get started now. This is where other people quit. I don't quit. I push through it. And so I began to monitor and measure and manage pain better than my competitor. That became my goal. And it made me a winner, man. Then when I was 18 years old, I started bodybuilding in Germany. That's where I started.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I was stationed in Nuremberg, Germany.
Oh, well, Nuremberg is only 90 minutes from where I live. So,
Wow.
in Kulmbach. So this is only 90 minutes. So, that's funny.
Yeah, so I started competing there. I won the Mr. Munich, the Mr. Bad Kirchnach, I won 13 titles in Germany. And man, that was like, this is my life. I quit everything else. I started slowly getting rid of the other sports, but I used them as cross training. Swimming, I swam the butterfly. So I had, this tremendous back from that. Sprinting built my legs. My weakest body part was my chest. So I really had to work on my chest. But it was like, this is it for me, bodybuilding. So I started competing in bodybuilding. My goal became to be the Mr. Universe. And that was my long-term goal. And I worked and I worked and I worked using pain as a friend. That was my motto, using pain as a friend. When it came to nutrition, I would diet harder than anybody else. I would train harder than anybody else, and that would make me a winner. Then I had to train smarter, eat smarter, before I could move to the different level, before I could become Mr. America, Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia. Yeah.
So you would say winning is, like everything else, probably a kind of attitude?
Yeah, for me, winning was attitude. Winning was the only thing for me. Second place was just not an option. I mean, I'd rather, in those days, when I was in my early part of my bodybuilding, I'd rather die than take second place.
And would you say you were dictated by winning or by the pain, or did you manage at some point to manage the pain? So was it you who controlled the pain and used it, as you say, or was it time where the pain and the obsession of winning, drove you?
Well, I controlled the pain, but the obsession of winning controlled me. It was both. I controlled the pain because I could turn it on and turn it off, but the winning, I was obsessed with it. I wanted to take more pain so I could keep winning. I was willing to take the pain. I can take the pain. I would say, like when I would do lunges, I would say, I'm going to do a certain amount of lunges and I won't stop. The only way I'll stop is I'll have to pass out. I'll pass out before I stop. And so I just continued. I would do 400-meter lunges. I would do 800-meter lunges when most people were doing 50-meter lunges. That was it. Nope, Mr. Universe does 800. So I would keep going. Yeah.
So this is a mind over matter approach that you say, okay, if my body collapses, it is the case, but my mind dictates what I want to do, and I can push my body because the mind forms a mind. I mean, a thought is a kind of energy, as I said, and then you can transform. Trans means through something, your body and shape it by your force. So inevitably. Okay, that's interesting. And then was that already the time you said, okay, because you mentioned, okay, your chest being your weak point, everybody has weak points. Was your invention born out of this issue, or what led to your was there a special thing that happened that we say, okay, now there's the need, I see the need for a new exercise machine, or what was the ignition for your brainchild?
Well,
Yeah.
Every piece of equipment that I've ever invented, every book that I've ever written is because of a personal need. And I am a demographic, and just so happens other people have that same need. So this piece of equipment, everybody loves it because of the way it's conditioned. It has a gimmick approach to it because of the way it looks. Gimmick is not bad. Gimmick just means it's appealing in a way that some things aren't. But with the Iron Chest Master, I developed that. I was sitting on this, me and my wife, we had been traveling around the country, going from one church to the next. We have a program that's called Faith and Fat Loss. And we are teaching why people are overweight and obese, the spiritual side of it, and how to get rid of it. And how, one of the things is the very first thing, according to Scripture, the Bible, the very first thing that man did contrary to God was when they ate from the forbidden fruit. They weren't supposed to eat it, and it affected them. So throughout history, food has affected us, and it always will. So we've got to not make food an enemy, but food is also a friendly. You can't defeat food. You can be addicted to food. Like, you have all kinds of addictions. You have porn addiction, you have sexual addictions, you have alcohol addiction. Any gambling, you have all these addictions. And you can go cold turkey with those addictions. But man, you can't go cold turkey with food.
Yeah.
You have to develop this balance, and you have to take some things out and be moderate with some things. So there's this balance that we have to develop. And some people are better at getting rid of things completely rather than having a little bit in their lives. And that's the way it is with food. So we have to change our thought process when it comes to food and be able to balance food and use food as a friend. And there's a way that we can do that biblically and spiritually. So that's one of the things we were teaching to the churches. But as we were going from state to state and city to city, I started missing workouts because we would get to a new city. I'd have to find a gym. It would take a half hour to get there. You have to pay $25 to work out. I'd have to leave that gym, go back to the hotel, take a shower, and try to make it to my meetings. Well, sometimes I couldn't do that. I had to go straight to the meeting when we got off the plane. So I started missing workouts, and I said, God, there's got to be a better way. I need to keep my training up. And within 20 minutes, I was sitting there. I saw the Iron Chest Master in my head. Within 3 weeks, I had a working model in my garage that I was using. And I had a friend come over and use it. He says, wow, this is cool. Will you make me one? I'm thinking, I guess. And then I had another friend come over and he's, oh, I love this, man. And everybody that used it said they wanted one. I went to church. I don't know if I told you this. I'm a pastor of a church, a local church.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm pastoring, and one of the guys in the church says, I know you invent equipment and stuff like that, and you get patents. He said, I got this idea that I want patent. So I researched it for him, and I said, this is unpatentable. There are 300 things that have been patented similar to what you have. So this will never be patented. And he says, wow. And he says, well, I tell you what, I'm going to give you $10,000 to patent your Iron Chest Master. I said, man, no. I said, I don't want your money. He said, no, I want to give you this. Well, he gave me the $10,000, which was a seed. It actually cost me $70,000 to patent the Iron Chest Master and all of the extensions of it. So we got it patented, and we started. We flew to China to get it mass built, and found a manufacturing company there, and off it took, man. Yeah, we had to find a good, reputable company, because China is one of the places where they're known to knock off products.
Yeah. So this is it was a real ripple effect, how it was created, because you planted the idea, the seed, and then it rippled, and it became a wave, so which led to the final product. And so let's tell us a bit about the product. So what does it do for? I can when I added the product, so the video, and people will see and listen to it on the show. They can see a picture of it. So then, guys, if you see this, you watch this, you will see how the Iron Chest Master looks like. But so can you tell us about it, and what does it do, and what's the benefit of using it?
Well, one is I use it in a full program. I use the Iron Chest Master for my chest, shoulder, and triceps, and my abs. Excuse me. There are other exercises that you can do with the Iron Chest Master. You can do your triceps, you can do your biceps with it, but I use it in a program where if you have 2 resistance bands, you can work literally your whole body with the Iron Chest Master program. But the way it's designed for the chest, if you were to look at the humerus, this bone here, the humerus, the humerus in a bird flies in an arc motion. Now, the movement of the chest, in order to get the chest to grow, to maximize the chest, you have to use that arc movement. All of the muscle groups in the body are made in an arc. If you look at your bicep, your tricep, your shoulders, your chest, your abs, your glutes, some people, they just have more glutes than others. And then you see the hamstring. All of it is made in an arc. If you want to maximize the muscle size, and you want to maximize the appearance of that muscle and the protection of that muscle, you stay within that arc movement, and you can develop that muscle. So overhead shoulder presses, I never do. Overhead shoulder presses, like military presses, behind the neck or straight out to the side, because that shoulder is very, very vulnerable. It has the ability, very mobile, to move in every direction. Every upper body muscle group is attached to that shoulder joint. Your chest, your traps, your shoulders, your bicep, your tricep, your back, your traps, all of it is attached to that. So it gives it the ability to move in every direction, but that it's a ball in the socket. And you can pull that ball out of the socket, and you can damage that joint with poor movements. So certain movements I just don't do, because it forces the ball out of the socket. It's not a natural movement. When a bird flies, he flies in an arc. He has that same ball in the socket. 95% of that bird's movement is in his flying. He hardly ever uses any other movement, but he doesn't rehab his shoulder joint. He prehabs it, because if he loses this joint, he dies.
Yeah.
He dies. He's prey. So he has to protect it. And he doesn't, and he moves in this pattern. He doesn't move like this. He doesn't supinate and pronate, because it's not a stable movement. When you're working the chest, you want that movement to be stable. When you supinate and pronate, it's more for the bicep It's longer here. You pronate, you get a peak on that bicep. But when you're working the shoulder and when you're working the chest, you don't pronate and supinate. When you're doing a bench press, you hold the bench press like this. This is where, and this is called a power position. So you're stronger here. You're stronger here. So the pushing part of the movement is for strength. And this is a maximum contraction, but it's not a peak contraction. The peak contraction is here. So we start here and we finish here. With the dumbbells, you can move the weight and you can move it to the center, but the weight is still coming from behind you. There is no lateral resistance. With the Iron Chest Master, you have lateral resistance, not resistance coming just from gravity behind you. So that is an important movement. Now with a bird, the resistance is lateral because he's using the wind to create that resistance. So he has the lateral resistance as well as the gravity pushing against him. Now that shoulder, a lot of people develop those shoulder problems, and we as lifters, we always say, no pain, no gain. But some pain is just not good for you.
Yeah.
The burning sensation, that's beautiful. But when you have chronic pain and you're having to wrap your arms and put Bengay and, trying to soothe that pain, that's not good pain. That's pain that becomes chronic for years and years and years. So with that being said, the Iron Chest Master was made out of the thought process of protecting the joint and building the muscle. When we go into the gym, my first thing is, as a coach and a trainer, my first thing is to keep you safe. And I ask the question, is there a better way? Is there a better way? If there's an exercise, like you'll see people standing on a ball doing squats.
Circuit training, circus training.
Yeah. Circus training, that's right. They've got the bar on their backs and they've got 225 pounds. They're balancing on a ball. And
the most stupid thing you could do.
Yes. So I look at that and I say, what is he trying to accomplish? Is there a better way? If this is your end goal, there's a better way to accomplish that. So I look for the best way to accomplish an end result. I don't want, and if the best way is a historical way, I don't have to have something new. I don't have to make up something new to show, I'm innovative. I want to do it the best way and the safest way. So my goal is to keep my client safe. His goal, the client's goal, is to get results. But I've got to keep you safe. I'm not just going to have you do stuff. I've seen things around the country where people are, they'll have a person that's overweight and obese doing athletic training when they need to be doing training specifically for their condition. And they have them jumping up on boxes. One guy had a girl jumping up on a metal box. She was obese. And I saw her getting fatigued. I said, uh-oh, that's going to be a disaster. Her shin bone, she missed the top of the box and her shin bone hit the box, tore the skin off of her legs. And man, that is horrible. I mean, that's the kind of thing you like, shh, it's okay, it's okay. You don't want anybody to see.
I like this approach because you say you are a trainer and not an entertainer. So, and this is a big difference. Yeah, that's good. And let me add just one thing, because for the people who have never seen the Iron Chest Master, you were performing the exercise. You're doing a push-up, and then you do the push-up on the Iron Chest Master. And the thing is, what you already mentioned is what most people do not realize is everybody who goes to the gym and trains chest and lies on its back, and it doesn't matter if it's incline, decline, machine, or free weights, the problem is the blocked shoulder blade, because when you lie on your shoulder blade, your rotator cuff will not work efficiently because it is blocked in the movement. And what you're doing push-ups is you have an abduction of the arm and then you're pressing in this movement. And the problem is that from a biomechanical point of view, this is real shitty, because the ball and socket joint is not designed for that, because you're blocking your shoulder blade, then you do the abduction and you have the supraspinatus ligament, and you have the the tendon of the long biceps, as you said, and then they start to irritate, and this will lead to, as you said, no pain, no gain. The more pain I have, the better. No, it's no brain, no gain. And to be honest, lots of people in the gym don't have a lot of brain. So, and because people tell them, hey, no pain, no gain, and so when you're performing an exercise like push-ups on an iron chest mass, it's like doing cable crossovers or dips. There, your scapula, so your shoulder blades can move freely, and the pain will not be the irritation in the rotator cuff will not be that hard, like just laying on a normal bench and performing bench presses or something like that. So this is the big advantage you will get. Plus, and correct me if I'm wrong, so in the times we have now, where lots of people, at least in Germany, don't have, or Europe, don't have access to a gym, and most people don't have a home gym. So I mean, like with free weights and machines, because they just don't have the space and or the budget. And so I think this is a really good thing to get in shape, stay in shape, and train. No matter, I mean, what the iron chest is, what 1 meter long or what. So no matter how, if you live in a van next to the sea, you can use that thing. It doesn't cost you any space. So this is really good. I just wanted to add this for all the people who say, okay, do I use this on a barbell? No, you perform push-ups, and then you combine the extension with the training of the inner part on the sternum part of your chest, so you get more done in the same time.
That's right. That's right. And also we have like 2 types of resistance bands.
Oh, yeah.
One resistance band is 10 pounds of pressure per resistance band. So you have 3 and 3, that's 60 pounds. Then we have the ones that are twice as heavy, which you get 120 pounds of resistance. So with your body weight, you're using approximately 75% of your body weight when you're doing a push-up. Plus you have 120 pounds of pressure from the resistance bands up to, you can put 1 resistance band, 2 resistance bands, however. And then we have the back strap that goes around that increases the push-up pressure. So instead of 75% of your body weight, you've added 60 more pounds of pressure.
Mm-hmm. Plus,
so you can get the workout.
Sorry for interrupting you. So, but plus, using bands, the strength curve will always be exponential. That means if you compare it to a normal bench press and you move a normal weight, the force will pull it to the ground. That means the strength curve is linear. That means that with every centimeter or inch you move the weight up or down, it's the same amount of weight. But with a band, with a resistance band, you have an exponential strength curve, which means it gets heavier and heavier the longer you pull the band. So this is from a training perspective a big difference. So I just wanted to add that people can see the whole value. It's not just something you buy from the tailor shop that you store under your bed so you don't see it anymore. And but it's a really useful tool, as you said. From my perspective, it's more than just a nice to have thing. But I think it's not that expensive. I think it's $150. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, 150. Yeah. So an investment, so people can have a mini home gym at their home, and yeah, that's a really cool thing. And yeah, man, this is we're almost approaching. This is so fascinating. I mean, we could talk for another 2 hours. So, but I don't want to make a one session too long. Is there something you want to add? I mean, 1 hour of talking with you is just scratching on the surface. This should be clear. But I wanted to have this as kind of impulse for people to say, hey, who is this Ron Williams guy? Where can they find you? Where can they find your work? What else do you do? You said you're also a writer. We've extensively talked, you are a coach, a life coach. So it's not only for people who say, hey, I want to have 23-inch arms to look cool. It's more than that. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the way you could find us is ironchessmaster.com. You can get me there, or ronwilliamsministries.com, or you could always go to support where the email or the message will get directly to me. We have a YouTube channel, Ron Williams YouTube channel, or Your Champion Body YouTube channel. It's yeah, and I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to. And you, man, I want to talk to you again. I mean, you are full of wisdom and knowledge, and you look like you're just a young guy. How old are you? 25, 30?
No, I'm 35 actually. So yeah,
Okay. You're
yeah.
full of wisdom, man. I just love you.
Thank you very much. So as I said in the beginning, this is birds of a feather flock together. This is a kind of there's something called the morphogenetic field. So that's what, think of a computer. There's the cloud, and likewise, people can upload and download things, and so that's how we find each other. And it's really cool. So to be honest, I didn't expect this to develop like this, because I thought, okay, we'll only be talking about a training device from a physical realm. The physical body is in a certain realm, and we certainly have different energetic bodies. We have something what we call the soul, and this is also an energetic body. And I really appreciated our conversation, because it was so much more than I expected, and this is really great. And if you guys, when you listen and hear our interview, if you're want to hear another round with Ron, please let us know and just post it in the comments, and then we can set up something else. Where we can, for example, dig more into coaching or the training, or Ron's books or his coaching, or I already saw you also have a supplement line and stuff like that. This is so much more, and we just saw the tip of your iceberg. So yeah.
Yeah, man. So, but before we go, I wanted to ask you one thing about the bamboo bench.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me just a little bit about it. Or
Well,
do you want to do that at another time?
no, it's okay. So it's interesting, because the approach, how it folded into reality, was kind of similar to you. It's the same. I came from I did a lot of sports. So I did from being 3 years old. I did gymnastic, track and field, Krav Maga. I was into that bodybuilding stuff over 10 years. Also did a bodybuilding competition and stuff like that. So because I always wanted to see talk, you can talk a lot, but I wanted to experience and say, okay, now I go to that show and I prepare for it, and it doesn't matter what if I win it or not. I just want to have the experience. How does it feel to do a 20 weeks diet where you feel like sh beep punct t, so all the time, and maybe lose a lot of friends, but I want to you have to experience and feel all those things in order to have at least a kind of understanding. So, and from being a bodybuilder and being in the gym and training, everybody I now say who trains regularly, and for me regularly means if you train more than twice a week and you train chest, you will experience shoulder pain, frozen shoulder, impingement, stuff like that, as I mentioned, because due to the fact that your scapula, your shoulder blades cannot move freely, only if you do exercises like, as I said, cable cross, dips, push-ups and stuff like that. But when you go to the gym, you're a man, and you said, hey, bench press, king of exercises, those you know those kind of people who never train legs, because they say, I don't have to train legs because in the club I wear jeans. So and I always said, okay, then wear a pullover, you don't have to train at all. So, and the thing is that I ended up with shoulder problems, and then I experienced with stuff, and the first thing I bought were these pool noodles you put in the pool and you can float on. And I experienced with that, and I saw a lot of people came up with ideas. They created benches, they were more narrow, and I said, okay, the idea is good, but the approach is good, but how it's realized is suboptimal. So, and then I came up with this special shape of the bamboo bench to create space. That means the space of the bench is narrowed down, and you lie on it from your head down to your sacrum. So you lie, even taller guys can lie on it. And explain it to people. The first time you train with the bamboo bench is like riding the bicycle first time without those assistant wheels. Because, as you say, in the beginning, this is a very good point, and I'd like to repeat that you said people learn something and they imprint their emotions in their brain, and it's their new normal. So it's the same with learning an exercise. You learn an exercise and your central nervous system says, okay, a bench press is performed like this, I have to push there and I involve these muscles and so on. And then you perform the same movement with your imprintment, but then your body says, oh, whoa, what the is this? Yeah, and it looks like you have a strong Parkinson attack, yeah, because you're shaking and something around, and you have to learn something new. So you have to rewrite your movement pattern.
Pathways, yeah.
Correct, and then you can use it as a rehabilitation or prevention tool, as you say. Okay, I go to the gym, I invest in this thing, and to not get injured, because when you're injured, as you say, you cannot work out at all. So this, I want to destroy myself, this is not a very, good approach. But I can understand young people, they cannot relate how it is to be injured, because when you're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, you feel like being indestructible. Yeah. So, hey, and you think you know everything in the world, and you tell everyone, how wrong they are. So I can relate to that, being at that point. But being now 15 years older and more, you get smarter. Yeah, and so this is in a nutshell how it came to to my invention. So it's really cool to exchange with other inventors, and that's why I liked your story, because there were so many similarities.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That is cool. And you actually use bamboo.
Oh no, this is no, it's not. It's just for the name, because I thought the metaphor of the bamboo. Bamboo is not a wood. Bamboo is a sort of giant grass, and bamboo is very. It is flexible yet very hard. Yeah, you can't bend it, but it does not get. You cannot break it easily, and so I like the metaphor in it. But it does not use bamboo. No, it is. It's a kind of special, foam type with artificial leather. So we don't use any. It's a vegan product. Yeah.
How do we in America get the bamboo bench? Or are you just keeping it for Germans?
No, actually, Oh no, that's a good question, and thank you for asking. So we have lots of distribution partners. Recently, they opened a distributor in Israel. So we have Poland, we have Spain, we have England, and so on, and Australia. And if you want if you want to get a bamboo bench, you can go to my friend Matt, and he's the owner of the Gym Revolution in England, and he has also a US site, and there you can get it. I don't sell it for myself anymore, so I have distribution partners. So if people from the US want to get one, go to thegymrevolution.co.uk, and there you can just type bamboo bench, and then you will find it. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Wow, man, it's been great talking to you, buddy. Let's talk again.
Well, finally, let me say thank you very much. And I always end the talk. I made it a habit, and give this a try, because I've never experienced someone who didn't like this. I always say, people, I wish you an energetic day. So, because I always get a smile when I say that, when I say, people don't say, hey, see you or something. No, I say, I wish you an energetic day, because you cannot have enough energy. And Ron, thanks for being on the show. Much appreciated. And I wish you an energetic day. See you soon.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you. And we'll talk soon, buddy.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Ciao.